Alright, everybody, I think we should be good to be live. Welcome back to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And today, we're going to be doing some fights. Fight, fight, fight. Fighting is what all I am about. I only think of fights. I love fighting. I get in fights all the time. And we're going to just keep doing that today. Just a sec, actually. Okay, now we're good. What do I have in store for me today? Oh, actually, you're pretty good. I wish I could shiny hunt that. Probably don't have enough time. We got Cherry. Floette. I tried to get so many Floette during Go Fest so that I could get one for Master League, and the best one I got was a 98% one. And then I got another 98% one, and then I got a 96% one. I was pretty upset because I wanted the Hundo, but I didn't get the Hundo. I got teased a lot about getting the Hundo from the game itself. Let's connect online. And now let's do Link Battle. And today's code is going to be 5. I feel like I start with 5 is a lot, actually. It's going to start with 1, and a 9, and a 0, an 8, and an 8, and an 8, and an 8, and then a 7. And then once stream catches up, I will start searching, so by the time you are seeing this, I have already started searching. And I will also say that this live stream is probably going to be the second to last live stream until we are at Team 5. So there will be this one, and then next week's one, and then we're going to have Team 5 debut next Saturday in a very, very long live stream. Because I don't think I have anything going on next Saturday. Or next Saturday. Next Saturday, the upcoming Saturday, is obviously, July 4th stuffs. But I have Team 5. I know exactly what it's going to be. And I think it's going to be a good one. Oh, I guess I kind of lied. I got distracted talking about Team 5 there. I didn't actually start searching yet. Doing something right now, so I won't be first. Well, we'll sit around and wait till there's somebody, I guess. Or I can go find those Poltergeist. Or Sinistras. Not Sinistras, Sinistes. It's gonna be weird in the future if they continue to add those regional or convergent evolutions that swap the names of the evolutions. Because it's already happened to me with Sinistea, obviously, and Sinistra. Can't remember their names. But maybe it's only because they did it for a Generation 8 Mon. Like, I think if they did it with the Generation 1 Mon, I would still be able to remember the swaps. What would be a good one to swap for Generation 1? Who's a Generation 1 Pokemon that hasn't had a lot of reemergence? I guess like Jinx. Moochum and Jinx. I could see that one being swapped. Maybe a little bit less because Smoochum is like a baby form. Oh yeah, Staryu and Starmie haven't gotten anything yet. Wonder what they could be faked with. Because Staryu is a starfish, but what if it was like a goldfish? Then we could call it Chiyu, and it would be a fire dark type. And then we would have Chi-Mi, and it would also be a fire dark type, but I guess it would be the first one using the logic that I've created. What else? I need like a Kanto Pokedex. I guess there's like the fossils. They could get a little funky. Ammonite and Kabutops haven't been revisited, but Aerodactyl has. Butterfree line's been revisited, Beedrill line's been revisited, Pidgeot line's been revisited, Raticate line's been revisited. Oh, Fearow. Fearow is a real Pokemon that I feel like has threaded the needle here on maybe getting revisited. What could Fearow be, though? Fearow as the first form and Spearow as the final form? Maybe Fearow is like a little bit smaller, but kind of as wide, and then Spearow is just kind of larger, but more thin. So it becomes more like a spear. Spear. Change whatever ends in O. Spearog. It's a frog instead of a bird. And then Fearog. Fearog evolves into Spearog. Oh, also Arbok. I did have a pretty good idea for Ekans and Arbok not that long ago. Where it would be a knots for a stone, and it would be more like an earthworm than a snake. I don't know what Arbok would evolve into. I think there was like a word for mountain or something that kind of sounded like Arbok. backwards. Boulder backwards. What is boulder backwards? Red. Red loop. Red Loopster. Great restaurant. They obviously haven't revisited Pikachu this generation. Sandslash got revisited. Nidoqueen, Nidoking. Technically not revisited. I don't know how I feel about changing the Nido family, though. The Fable's not been revisited yet. That would be a good one. I feel like there's a lot of potential to do a convergent evolution with Clefairy and Clefable. You could do Clefrog and Clefrog again. Clefroggle. Clefoggy and Clefoggle. Everybody is a frog now. All Pokemon eventually become frog. Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. That's a hard one because Screamtail exists, but that's not revisiting Jigglypuff though, especially not Wigglytuff. So I don't know what I would do in that scenario. I guess I'll just let Wigglytuff cook for a while. Zubat, Golbat, and I cannot remember the name of Golbat's evolution because it wasn't in this game. It wasn't in the last game until the very last DLC. That's why. Crobat. Crobat? I can't see the Zubat line being anything other than bats. It just doesn't work. Not even frogs can fix this. Clefable would be cool. Yeah, I think Clefable is right in that spot where its design isn't too specific to any creature that it could work as another kind of creature. Vileplume line. Not revisited, except for Blossom existing. Maybe this line could be different. I don't know how, though. I think you would have to take the grass typing away. But I don't know what you replace it with. The thing is, the ones that got replaced all had very similar names, like Toadscruel and Toadschool were very similar. Sinistcha and then Poltergeist were at least similar enough that you could just change the T part. T to Machagacha. Or whatever the heck. Oddish Gloom and Vileplume, they don't really have like a thing in their name that you could change. Paris and Parasect is a maybe. They haven't been revisited. I guess Paris and Parasect, you could just do them without the mushrooms. And that would kind of be a convergent evolution. Maybe like a bug dragon type. Or, no, the bug part is, I think, the parasite. Grass Dragon. Oh, but Grass Dragon is so... So many Grass Dragons lately. We need a Bug Dragon. I don't know how we get a Bug Dragon, though, other than Mega Young Mega. But that's probably not happening anytime soon. Oh, Venonat and Venomoth. You could do... How do you change Veno? Menonet, and Menomoth. It's just like a guy. He has an office job. He works 9 to 5. Menonet. Or, no, you gotta flip so, Menomoth works in office 9 to 5, and then Menonet works a 7 to 5 office job. With no benefits. I was just about to join, but Switch is dead again. Oops. Well, there's no line, so whatever's whenever. And, you know, Diglett and Wugtrio, obviously. Such simple changes, but so effective. You know, Persian Psyduck, Golduck have not been revisited yet. They feel like that would be an easy one. Ooh, okay, here's an actual good idea. We have Psyduke. He's like a duke of some sort. Of like a different species. I don't know what. Maybe a dog. A dog that kind of looks like Psyduck. Perhaps. And then Golduke. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. That's a good one. You know what? Right, it's kind of because right after Golduck is Mankey and Primeape, who got Annihilate. We should just keep Golduck in evolution. What is man's doing here? Golduck could use some help. Just give it an evolution. Growlithe revisited. Poliwag not revisited? What would the word poly change into? And also, how would Politoed fit in? What about Hollywag? It's more Christmas themed. Hollywhirl, and then Hollyrath. And Hollytoad. Ooh, okay, here's an actual good one that I thought of the other day. I know Abra, Kadabra, and Alakazam got a Mega Evolution. But what you could do is you could do Abrawl. So it's a fighting type Abra. And then Kadabral. And then Alakapow would be the name of the last one. And they would be fighting type instead of psychic. Or Abro. Abro, I think, would not be as popular as Abrawl, but Abrawl kind of fits with the theme of at least changing some of the letters in the original Pokemon. Or Abro does. Abrawl it fits better, I think. Abrawl or Abro, Kadabro, and Alakapow. Alakapow is the best of the three, obviously, for name scheme. Or what if it was like Abam? What if they were all like onomatopoeias? Abbam, Kadab Boom, and then Alakapow. Yeah, I like that a lot better, actually. A Champ Line revisited. Bellsprout, Weepinbell, Victory Bell line are all close because they all have Bell, just in different spots. I think Bellsprout could be a snake. A little poisony snake guy that grows into a snake with a big mouth as Victory Bell. I could see it. Tentacool obviously revisited. Golem has yet to be revisited. Geodude, Graveler, and Golem. Someone battle before fire creates an entire gen. That's the point that we're at. I'll keep going until somebody stops me. Geodude, Graveler, and Golem. My original idea for Geodude, Graveler, and Golem is that you just break the Geodude open and it has like pink rocks inside of it, so it becomes like a rock fairy type or a ground fairy type. Probably a rock fairy type, like Diancie. Or he gets like a cool gem mohawk. I think that'd be great for Geodude. Ponyta, Rapidash revisited. Slowpoke, Slowbro obviously revisited, but the fact that they both have slow at the start of their names makes them prime targets for these convergent evolution ideas. What else ends in ow? Like slow cowpoke, cowbro. And Cow King. Nah, Cow King sounds dumb. That's where I draw the line. We can't have Cow King. Especially not Galarian Cow King. Don't even get me started. That sounds dumb as anything. I mean, Blowpoke and Blowbro and Blowking. That also sounds... It needs to be something that sounds not stupid in front of King. Because Slowking at least, like, kind of gets away with it. You don't really think about the words that Slow and King are just two words. What about oh, I guess Glow King already exists. That's Galarian Slowking abbreviated. Glowpoke, Glowbro, and Glow King though, as an actual thing, and Slowpoke is a glowworm instead of a whatever the heck Slowpoke is. I can see that one, especially with the tail. The tail being like a light up glowworm tail. I think that one's cooking. Write that idea down. Hi, Sua, how you doing? Magnemite, Magneton, and Magnezone. You gotta change the Magna part. How do you change the Magna part? Bagnemite. Magneton and Magnezone. They're just like grocery store bags. What would plastic be as a type? I guess just normal. It doesn't really fit steel. It doesn't really fit rock or ground or grass. I don't even think plastic exists in the Pokemon world. It probably does. It probably exists. But why has no Pokemon ever been made of plastic yet? If it does exist, I feel like that's a pretty easy layup. And definitely not just something that you do when you're running out of ideas like I am currently. Farfetch'd obviously revisited. Ooh, Doduo and Dodrio might be our best contenders for convergent evolutions that we've had so far. I mean, all you gotta do is just take an animal and then make 2 of it on the same body, and then make 3 of it on the same body, and there you go. So what if instead of Doduo, we had... No, I already used the glowworm idea. Koduo and Kodrio, cows. 2 cows, same body cow. 2 legs. Then 3 cows. You know, this one's a lot harder than I thought. We're gonna move on. Seal Dugong. How do you revisit Seal and Dugong? Other than just giving them an evolution. I think an evolution is just warranted. Doesn't Garbodor count as it's literally the trash Pokemon? I would assume it's made of plastic. I guess Garbodor is just a plastic bag. At least the bag part is probably plastic. I always kind of thought it was like a leather. But it would make more sense if it had like a plasticky feel to it. Primer Muck, obviously revisited. Shelter Cloyster. I don't know what to do. Cloyster's pretty perfect. And I can't really see it being another Pokemon. Other than an oyster. So I think I'll just chalk that one up to regional variant of some kind. Ghastly Haunter Gengar. I feel like if I thought about it for long enough, I could give it a good one like I did for Alakazam. But we're gonna skip. I'm gonna skip that one. Onyx. Crystal Onyx. Where is Crystal Onyx? How do we not have Crystal Onyx as an actual regional variant yet? After 3 different rounds of regional variants. 4 different rounds. I wasn't including Legends Arceus, the biggest one. 4 rounds of regional variant Pokemon, and we still don't have a Crystal Onyx. Simply because they are too afraid to align Pokemon that have Mega Evolutions with Pokemon that have regional variants, even though Galarian and Slowbro exist. I never saved after the last time I changed the team, apparently. Dozo doesn't have Fisher anymore. Well, that would be a benefit for me. Here's what I think they should do with Crystal Onyx. If they don't want to make Crystal Steelix, that's fine. what you do is you have Onyx, and Onyx now evolves into a the regional, variant of Onyx that is Crystal Onyx, now evolves into Onyxtal instead of Steelix. Because now it has combined Crystal and Onyx, and it's a different evolution, like with Runegregus and Cofagregus. Regular Onyx evolves into Steelix, Crystal Onyx evolves into Onyxtal. And then you don't have to give it a Mega Evolution, and we get Crystal Onyx. Drowsy Hypno needs an evolution. Just let the Hypno evolve. Give Hypno the Dark typing and Psychic typing and let it be a little freak and let it evolve. That's what you do. Grabby Kingler doesn't need revisited, got a G-Max form, but is also like, okay. Electrode revisited, Executor revisited, Marowak revisited. Hitmonchan, Hitmontop. What do we do with those fellas? I don't know. They all kind of feel like they're like in a good spot, and to touch one of them to change them in some way, I don't know what I would do. I did see a pretty convincing design for, I think it was Hitmontop as a Paradox Pokemon, where it becomes like a UFO with feet sticking out of the bottom. That was a pretty neat one. But then you would have to make Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee paradoxes too in some kind of way like that. And I don't know. I don't think it's possible. I'll have to see a regional variant for Frostlass where she takes a much more monstrous appearance. Being an ice dark type could be fun. I could see it. Definitely possible. Coughing, Wheezing got revisited. Why weren't Rhydon Rhyperior? I can't see being anything other than rhinoceroses that do whatever the rest of the body does. So I think the Rhy part, even though it could be replaced for Convergent Evolution, I don't think you could. You could do it, but I don't think you could. Not possible. Chansey. I don't want to touch Chansey. Chansey's doing fine. Tangela and Tangrowth is a weird one. I don't know what I would do for Tangrowth, but I feel like Tangela and Tangrowth are pretty optimal for getting convergent evolutions, because you just gotta change the Tang part. It's not like Tangela is really like a real animal or something that would be hard to change into something else. But what would you change the Tang part to with the squigglies that would make sense? What can you change Tang to? I guess Clang? Clangela and Clangrowth? What would that involve, though? I keep thinking, or at least I think I'm thinking of Pokemon Insurgents that had a Tangela that was snakes. Or no, Tangela was a tumbleweed in that game. What am I thinking of that Tangela was the snakes? There was definitely a fan game where Tangela was snakes, but I can't remember which one it was. I think that would be a cool idea if they could make that work. And then Tangela would evolve into more like of a Medusa kind of thing. Kangaskhan obviously doesn't need anything done. Horsey Cedra Kingdra is kinda due for some love. Kingdra is still holding its own. Makes it kind of difficult to revisit it. Bug Dragon type Flygon, just saying. That one, I feel like that one has been so talked about in the community that Game Freak will never do it. Just because it's a design idea that a lot of people have done. I do think turning Flygon into a bug something makes sense, but probably not a dragon anymore. I went to Goldeen and Seeking. I don't really know what to... I would say, like... Okay, the main thing that keeps me from changing Goldeen and Seeking in any way, like giving them an evolution or any kind of power-up, is the fact that they're a water type with Lightning Rod, which is great. That is already so good. Having only one weakness is phenomenal. Well, I am freeze drive, but... Grabbing PPOs real quick, and I'm finally good. Well, gonna have to cut, bump out whoever's next in line. Now we're back to Staryu and Starmie, who I already forget what I said about them at the start. Mr. Mime got revisited. Scyther, Scizor... Actually, Scyther got revisited again with Cleaver. Which was not what I would have ever expected. And then Jinx was the one I talked about before. Jinx out here just existing. Electabuzz Magmar? I don't know what I do for those two. Because they have Electivire and Magmortar. And that feels like any step further than that is questionable. Except for Megas for Electivire and Magmortar. Those make sense to me. Because Electric-type Megas are okay at best. And Fire-type Megas are basically just Charizard. Charizard and Blaziken and Primal Groudon. They dominate the Fire-type Megas. Pinsir Mega, Tauros regional variant, Magikarp Gyarados. They're doing alright. Lapras. Oh, G-Max Lapras. Ditto cannot be changed. Ditto is fundamentally unchangeable as a Pokemon. I don't think that there's anything that you could ever do for Ditto except a regional variant. That is the only thing I could think ever doing for Ditto. And even then it would just be pointless. Because you just transformed. Alright. We're gonna cut off before the Eevee's here. Not that I could ever change Eevee. Alright, let's do this team. And it looks like we are up with a Parish Trap team that intends to use a Kingdra for some offense. I feel like starting with Arcalon makes sense here. And Scizor also makes a lot of sense here. Raichu is handy here. I think I do need Grimmsnarl though. I think I need to do this. Would love to see a variant for Vileplume. It would be cool to see what they would do with it. Yeah, Vileplume's an interesting one. We were talking about Vileplume earlier. And I think you would have to get rid of the grass on Vileplume to really do something interesting. But then what does that mean for Oddish? What is Oddish without the ish part? It's just odd. We have the Giraffe and Kingdra. I'm going to Snarl and then Bug Bite the Giraffe, I think. Move your Dracos into our Caledon, and about half. Stamina goes up. Kingdra loses some HP. Our Caledon gets more Snarl, doing some good shit for both. Scizor gets off Bug Bite, and that KOs for Giraffe. Getting a critical hit, but I don't think the crit matters. Now Screamtail is going to enter the field. Going to activate its booster. I don't want to kill it on the lead because I don't want it to be stuck into Snarling, but giving... Actually, I guess Grimmsnarl is a pretty good swap here if we think it's going to go for Draco again. And then Bullet Punch into the Screamtail. Seems like a decent idea. You know, at moments like these, I really wish I had the Switch too. Watching the background clip out of existence. I mean, like, come on. Give me the Switch 2. I need that Switch 2 graphic. Okay, Screamtail protects. Not wanting to take the damage here. And Kingdra also protects. Screwtail's either going to take a Bullet Punch here, or it's going to switch out, or it could terrestrialize. Either way, we're gonna get some funky chip. Okay, we're gonna see terrestrialization from the opponent. And it goes Terra Dark so that it can comfortably take the bullet punch. Green Tub goes for the Perish Song. Pinker goes for the Muddy Water. And -3 doesn't do too much. Spirit Break comes out and that KOs Kingdra. Picking up a critical hit, which kind of doesn't help me here because I think Gothitelle is about to come in. Yeah, Gothitelle comes in. So, seeing as I just went for Spirit Break, it would make sense for Screamtail to want to disable that. I think I'm going to attempt to Thunder Wave the Gothitelle and then Bug Bite into the Screamtail. Okay, Gothitelle fakes out into Scizor. That is now paralyzed, and what does the Screamtail do? Disables my disables my Thunder Wave now. Evolves 2. So, do I need to keep Grimmsnarl alive? Screamtail can't both Encore Bullet Punch and it can't Encore Thunder Wave. Could Ghost Terra and then try Spirit Break into. I want Ghost Terra just because I won't use it anywhere else. And then Bug Bite into the Gothitelle, I guess. And Ghost Terra is useful for escaping scenarios like this. But Vileplume is still perfect as is. 2-ball, its sets are pretty solid, and it's a counterpart to Amogus. Amogus more grass types, but would love Spore on Vileplume. I think Spore on a Chlorophyll would be pretty scary. That is something that will haunt me in my nightmares. Even though Vileplume is kind of slow. With Chlorophyll, it's gonna own me. Okay, Screamtail actually opted to protect here, which means that we click the Bug Bite and we're good. Maybe I'll go for the protect, but there's not much that I could actually do here. That went well. I mean, it was an unfortunate lead, but also there, like, no Politoed, and also no Pelipper, but no Rain, and my no Rain mode is a little bit easier than your no Rain mode, with 2 water types versus my, or your 3 water types versus my 2, and our Caledon, who wants to be a water type, but not really. Oh, let's pick randomly this team. Okay, how do I use this team to beat that team? I think what I do is I utilize my monkey. And also you. And then I do you. And you. I mean, Vileplume doesn't really need speed though. Its bulk is fairly decent with HP investment if it can still hit pretty hard too. Yeah, it can hit hard, but like against any Sun team, it's one of the slower chlorophyll mons, so you'll get cooked. Like not slow enough for Trick Room. So against like ground types, you would want to be like Ursaluna. It's a little bit of a difficult matchup. SEC boost defense. I could just Woodhammer and Dire Claw, or I could Woodhammer and let's combat the giraffe. Decisions. Okay, Politoed protects, which is what we want to see. Down goes the giraffe to the Woodhammer. Dozo is now going to enter the field. I kind of want to get rid of it. Especially that Dozo's unaware, that means, I guess they don't have the defense drop because I had the Grassy Seed. I think obviously the safest thing to do is just to double this slot. So I'm going to do that. Not as bad as it could have gone. Rupture Run. Dozo is terrestrializing into grass. Does fall to Politoed. It falls asleep, but that probably won't matter. Because it gets taken out by Woodhammer. A lot of recoil and a lot of chip. Dondozo misses the Fisher into Rillaboom, which I would have been fine if it landed the Fisher at this point, I think. Because even if Kingdra is in the back here, which it's not. Green does want to be fast. Not faster than Sneasler, though. I mean, it could on-core me into Woodhammer, but it really can't, though. I obviously don't want this to do anything, but I don't want this to do anything more. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Is it a double protect that we see here? It's not a double protect. In that case, I am fine bringing Grimmsnarl in here. Slam into Sneasler. Thunderwave misses a tad bit unfortunate. Dark Claw does get to do a lot of damage though. Picks up the para anyways, which is nice. Encore's Grimmsnarl into the Thunderwave, but I am fine with that for now. And Heavy Slam is going to pick off Sneasler. Green was paralyzed, but it tried to protect. And Dozo dodges another Thunder Wave. Well, that's not peachy. Grass also disappears from the battlefield. That was booster speed, so it's probably faster than me. Still Encored into Thunder Wave. It makes the most sense to Encore Rillaboom into the Fake Out. So I'm gonna do this. And if the Dozo fishers me, then I lose the game. Green goes for Encore, but it fails because it's into a Pokemon that hasn't moved yet. Heavy Slam comes down to Grimmsnarl, does a little bit less than half. Grassy Surge comes back out as this dropping Rillaboom. Screech on it just to get off the protect. Dondo can move because Paralyzed is nice. He needs Thunder Wave when you go Dire Claw anyways, bro. I mean, if it had poisoned you on the Dire Claw, I'd be in a not as great position. Because then I would have gotten the Paraturns, but Sleep would have been nice too. Just saying. Sleep would have gone crazy. Again. I think I just Grassy and then... Sucker the Dozo. Okay, Screamtail tries to protect again, but it fails. Grassy Glide does not KO. Sucker Punch chips the Dozo. Dozo goes for the Fissure, but it misses. Screamtail protect. If Dozo lands the Fissure into Rillaboom here, I lose. I don't think it's going to attempt the Fissure into Rillaboom though. Oh, it couldn't move because Paralyzed, so we'll never know what it tried to do. I might as well use this now. I'm not going to use it on anybody else. Grassy Glide picks off Screamtail. That is a big chunk. Dozo misses the Fissure again, but at this point I don't think it would matter. Kingler got a G-Max. It showed so much potential to finally be a good Watermon. If only its speed was better, it could finally make use of that huge 130 attack stat. Yeah, Speedy Kingler would be a menace. But for now, it sits in Rampardo's land. A huge attack stat, but too slow and too frail to take a hit. Alright, one more. Oh, 50-50 split. Let's do this team. Okay, I think what I should do is lead Marina Hatterene with Reckless Abandon. No, probably not that. Primarina is very handy here. Very handy. I think I just leave these two and then have, I don't know. How do I beat that? I use... I think I just have to bring this and this. And we'll make it happen. Okay, Gothtail and Screamtail are here. Screamtail activates the photosynthesis. I'm going to Hyper Voice and fake out the Screamtail. Gothtail protects. Screamtail flinches and can't move. Primarina gets off the Hyper Voice. So we at least get some good Screamtail chip. We are locked in with the Screamtail now. So I need a Grassy Glide. I think we're just gonna double the Screamtail. Screamtail could also choose to disable my Hyper Voice. Maybe I should have Moon Blasted it. Yeah, I probably should have Moon Blasted it. Oh wait, if they swap in the Giraffe here and then Encore me, does that not... I guess that would lock me into the Grassy, but then they would have to swap in Gothitail for Screamtail, and I can still swap out. Gothitail sets up Trick Room. And now the Dozo comes in. How do I feel about the Dozo being here? I feel like I could click Ice Beam into it with Reckless Abandon and probably be fine, but I'm not going to do that because this Dozo has not terrestrialized in the face of Rillaboom before. And Moonblast is the safe play, so we're going to make the safe play. And should I just Ice Beam the Dozo? Yeah. And Dozo yawns in the Rillaboom. And it gets some psychic damage from Primarina. so we're gonna get stalled for a bit here. I'm not gonna go for my own protect. I'm going to go for Ice Beam and then protect on the turn after that. I mean, the Grassy Glide and the Dozo is still valuable because I'm negating the leftovers and grassy terrain healing. So I think I'm gonna do that. Gothitelle actually leaves here. For Politoed. Well, now I wish I Grassy Glided the Gothitelle slot, because I would be in a much better spot. Alright, Dondozo's gonna leave. And Gothitelle is going to enter. But Purina is going to leave, and Indeedee is going to enter. I get his second Seed proc. And Politoed goes for the Hair Song. Parish Falls to 3, Gothitelle Parish Falls to 3, Politoed Parish Falls to 3, and Indeedee Parish Falls to 3. Gothitelle protects. Politoed also protects. This is dimensions return to normal. Politoed is going to be the one to leave. Dozo hits the field. Gothitelle goes for the protect again, but does not get it. Then comes out. Finishes off on Dozo and brings Gothitelle to half. Break does not matter on the Dozo. Gothitelle eats Citrus Berry, but that won't matter here in a bit. Everything count falls to 1. Screamtail's not... Yeah, Screamtail's dead. I thought Screamtail was alive there for a second, and I was like, wait a minute. This is not great. I think I'll put Expanding Force, not that this turn matters. Polyjump, Protect. God's up for Psychic for whatever it's worth. Those guys, the Death Drop on Hatterene. Expanding Force does a bit of damage to Gothitelle. Rain now stops. Indeed, Parish falls to 0. Gothitelle Parish falls to 0. Hatterene Parish falls to 0. I hear a real boom either wakes up in 2 turns or it doesn't. Oh, Flash actually goes for the Weather Ball, which can't Perish Song, because Premier is slower. So that should actually just be game. If Primarina was faster, Rillaboom would need to wake up, but because Polyshot is faster than Primarina, then they can't win with the Perish Con. GG's, GG's. Oh, look at the frames of my guy. We are in one of the lagger areas, so it makes sense that the frames are not great. I wanted to be up in this lighthouse, but when you go to the top of the lighthouse, there's no music or anything up here. Also, puppies is apparently a canonical term within the Pokemon universe. I don't know if that's ever been said before, but it's been said now. Brutal. I mean, I did feel pretty prepared for the traps there. The traps did get a lot of Pokemon, especially in the last battle, but the things outside the trap needed a little bit more. Let's travel. I don't remember. What's my things in Kitakami? I don't think I have Cantonian Sandshrew Shining, but I'm not gonna worry about it today. Alright, I'm gonna start blanket searching for whoever comes along. And now, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Fire Farmer 123 figures out all of Pokemon Generation 10 based on Generation 1. Oh, we were left at Eevee. Eevee is obviously a skip. There ain't no fixing Eevee. Burgraph was supposed to be Baton Pass, but I never had a window to use it. Interesting. Baton Pass... It does help you on the Parish team, because you can you can swap into Gothitelle. But if you Perish and then swap into Gothitelle, then Gothitelle still retains the Perish counter, because Perish counter gets Baton Passed. Maybe you could do Teleport instead, though. Teleport, I think, would work. I don't know if Burgraph has Teleport, though. Like, every Psychic type gets it. I imagine Burgraph gets it. No, no teleport. Huh. There's always Roar. But the side Roar gets your Politoed out of there. Porygon obviously doesn't need fixing. I would like to see a split evolution for Porygon 2 if we're gonna do anything, though. I don't know into what yet, though. Omanyte, Amistar, Kabuto, Kabutops. Could use a revisit. But also, I don't know what to do with them, other than give them Megas. Because I feel like Kabutops as a Swift Swim user, and at least Dreadnought exists. Dreadnought and Kabutops kind of exist on separate existences, though. Never to really meet each other. Porygon Y, a possibility. I think if you're gonna make it a split evolution, though, it should be something different, like Porygon 2, and then Porygon Z is not Porygon 3. Like, it kind of has to. It needs to sound like 3. Aerodactyl, Snorlax. Snorlax is the least revisited. Actually, no, it's not. G-Max form exists. No, Snorlax, you're good. I thought Snorlax only had the Z move. But no, it got the max, the G max. Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres all got regional variants. Dragonite is so overdue for a revisit, but it's gonna get a Mega. It's 1000% gonna get a Mega in ZA. Anybody with 2 brain cells knows this to be true. On another note, I have a question. Would you have any ideas on what kind of team I should try and run on a Combomon server? Rules incoming, 1 sec. Okay. It's almost Nat Dex with Gen 9 mechanics with no gimmicks. I think we might get 1 legendary, but for that I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure we will at some point at least. So by 1 legendary, do you mean 1 restricted? Just that there's so many Pokemon and options, I don't know what to do. If you don't know what to do, I would immediately start with a rain team. Those are always viable. If it's Gen 9 Nat Dex, you do... Depending on what your 1 legendary is. If your 1 legendary is Kyogre, then you use Kyogre. If you don't have Kyogre, then you use other means, aka Pelipper or Politoed. But you use your Rain Setter, you get our Caledon, you get a Swift Swim user, you have some options. Like Kabutops and Kingdra also exists. Or Walking Wake. Walking Wake is not a Swift Swim user, but it does fundamentally the same thing. Walking Wake is also how you beat Sun teams. Next, you get an... Electric type to beat other rain teams. I'm not running Kabutops, but Kabutops is actually good on rain teams. You can click Swords Dance and then you just win. You click Swords Dance with your Swift Swim Focus Sash, especially since there's no terrestrialization, and then you click Rock Slide and Waterfall, and you have Rapid Spin. Get rid of hazards if there are hazards. Walking Wake on a rain team? Yeah, you still get the increased damage on your water type move. And if you really want to proc your ability, then you can be booster energy. But if not, then you do you use Specs, and then you're just the anti-sun Pokemon. And then, okay, so your Rain Setter, which is maybe Kyogre, or Pelipper, or Politoed. Our Caledon, your Swift Swim user, your Electric type, your Steel type is pretty important. Your Steel type is probably Kingambit. Or it could be Registeel is a fun option for the body press endgame. Because in a format with no terastallization, the body press endgame is still pretty valuable. And also, oh, well, then I guess you have two steel types in Archaludon and Registeel, so you probably don't need both of them. Water Urshifu, also very real. Goldango is also a possible water type, or steel type. It's just that Goldango is going to hurt a lot if you don't have your gimmick in terastallization. Goldango is a Thundermon, though. What was that, there's that team I made not that long ago on the 128 teams challenge that had a Goldango with Thunder on it. That was a rain team. It was the underwhelming rain team, that's what it was. With Dreadnought and, Electros. Yeah, that was pretty underwhelming. No Megas, no Z moves, no Max. Means no Swampert, no... A Rock... maybe a Rockwanid. For an anti-Trick Room mode. A Rockwanid with... Liquidation, Wide Guard. Is maybe a decent idea. Especially if Pelipper is your weather setter. Because then you're not crossing as many as your weaknesses in grass. And Rock Slide is blocked by the Wide Guard, and ain't nobody running Stone Edge. Goodra is an interesting pick. If you're not going to be in a no terrestrialization, no gimmicks, because Assault Vest Goodra gets to be very tanky, and with the Sap Sipper, you catch the grass type switch-ins, or the grass types trying to hit your water types, and you also resist electric, which your water types don't. Goodra can also Weather Ball, so it gets a water type move. Goodra's probably not a swap for Archaludon, though. I would do a Moongus. Moongus is always good. Especially to pollen puff up your Mons. Keep them around. Overquill is another Swift Swim Mon. And being only weak to ground is pretty valuable. It's just that in a Nat Dex format, with minor legendaries, it does get slapped around a little bit. I'm just gonna make a box on Showdown of things that might work, and then try piece something together when I actually know what all is in the game. That's a pretty sound idea. I guess Ludicolo exists again. Ludicolo is your anti-rain team mon. If Dondozo Tatsugiri is going to exist, then you need... Overquill helps a lot with Haze. Something with Haze is going to be helpful. Just don't know if it should be Overquill, because you need a lot of your moves on Overquill. Who's the man's that was... Oh, Murkrow. Murkrow Haze. Murkrow's, like, fine on a rain. Like, it sets up your rain for you if you don't want to immediately start with it. So I'd say Murkrow is worth an idea. Especially if it's, like, single restricted legendary, then you can click Foul Play into Calyrex, and it probably can't kill you back. If Calyrex is going to exist. Oh, if you're in a format where Xerneas exists, though, no anything, no Megas, no Z moves to try and take it down. Xerneas very much benefits. Xerneas is actually a very big problem. Not so much a problem with Haze Murkrow. That's another reason to be using Haze, is because of Xerneas. When gets Haze, that's another one, yeah. It's a slower one, so you'll take at least one Dozo hit. Man, Xerneas sounds like it's going to run the format that's being created. Nat Dex, no Max, which Xerneas hated, no Z moves, which Xerneas liked. Xerneas likes Z moves, but it likes running the power herb more if everybody else isn't running Z moves. No Megas, which Xerneas hated because it didn't have one. No Terrestrialization, which Xerneas would like Terrestrialization, theoretically, to hit even harder, to basically just be Fluttermane, but with 2 Quiver Dances for basically nothing. Hi Tiger Gamer, how you doing? You wanna fight codes on screen? Xerneas exists, I think. It's the first thing I was looking at. Yeah, Xerneas is going to exist. In a format with no Megas, no gimmicks, Xerneas is going to be a very big problem. Heck, I would say put Galarian Weezing on your team, just so that you can stop Xerneas from doing a lot of things that it wants to do. Bronzong is another Pokemon to think about. To beat Xerneas, because Gyro Ball destroys Xerneas. Game Freak needs to nerf neutralizing gas. I don't know if I would agree with that, Tiger Gamer. I think neutralizing gas is actually pretty great. I feel like it's in a really good spot. How do you think Rabombi fares this format? Thinking about using a Quiver Dance set? Well, I'm assuming it's a doubles format. So probably not great. But if it's a singles format, then I could see Rabombi taking off with the Quiver Dance set. The Corrosive Gas is a move that they introduced in Generation 8. And I like it a lot, because it theoretically gets to make Xerneas look like an idiot by getting rid of its Power Herb. Because it's a move that destroys items. But it technically exists in this game, but it can only be called by Metronome, which is so strange. Like, I think they just forgot that Corrosive Gas is a move. Which is really too bad, because it would have been really funny on Grafaiai. As a prankster Pokemon, it could use the status move with priority and have priority item destruction. Are you doing format I? Nope, we're in format F. Which means everything except for restricted legendaries and mythicals. I went to go get my water bottle, but my water bottle is not where I thought it was. Wait, never mind. Still haven't gotten a new online subscription. This is the first time I've played in 3 months. Now's the time. We're not doing much of nothing. Can I battle you? I mean, I can't stop you, Tiger Gamer. Feel free to challenge. The rules all are over on the YouTube side of things, Tiger Gamer. But as long as you're playing without any restricted legendaries or mythicals, it would be easier to explain the rules as we go. Oh wait, yeah, you already battled Tiger Gamer, so you're good to go. For the 2 out of 3. All you gotta do is win 2 of these upcoming battles. We're gonna use official rules 1, as we do for all the battles, and I'm going to hide screen so you don't know what team I'm picking. And let's go with this team. Okay, what do we have here? A very, very rain team. I think what would be good is... pretty tricky. I need to bring Sun, but I'm not exactly sure how I should bring Sun. Especially with that Pokemon being a possibility. I think I do that. And we'll see how it goes. Developer and Incineroar, okay. Originally I wanted to do a thing, but now I no longer want to do that thing. Instead, what I think I'm going to do is... there's a lot of ways this turn can go. I think I'm going to do this, and then do this. Activates my photosynthesis, but that doesn't matter here. Incineroar fakes out into Torkoal, which is nice. It means Incineroar takes Rocky Helmet damage. Gets some Shadow Ball damage into Pelipper, which does that much. Tailwind comes out from Pelipper, okay. So... I'm going to... Waterman should still be faster than both of these Pokemon. Pelipper should leave, theoretically. I think I'm going to Dazzling Gleam here. Yeah, Pelipper leaves, but for who? Basculegion is a bit of a risky switch in, but alright. Dazzling Gleam comes out, does some chip to both. Incineroar Parting Shots out. And our Caledon is going to come in. Our power does a slight bit of chip to our Caledon, but our Caledon gets the defense boost, which is probably what it actually wanted. And now... could just lose the weather war here. It's not super beneficial for me to do so. But I'd rather not lose both of these Pokemon. And they didn't swap in Pelipper, so they have to swap in Pelipper if they want to win the weather war. They don't swap in Pelipper here, which means Basket Legion does try to go for the Aqua Jet in Sun, though. Which seems to me to be a tad bit strange, but that's the only thing it could do to try and get up damage if we get the Shadow Ball into it here. Our Caledon does Flash Cannon into Fluttermane. Now we're actually going to see Incineroar hit the field. Seemingly holding back on that Pelipper idea. If they swap Incineroar for Pelipper here, then our Caledon gets to be faster than Fluttermane, but Fluttermane would move first. I really don't feel like Torkoal isn't too much threat here. I'm really not sure what keeping Torkoal in buys me though, so we're going to swap in DD and then protect here. Psychic Surge is now up. Psychic Seed activates. Fluttermane's gonna protect this one out. Incineroar goes for the Fake Out, but indeed he's protected by the terrain. Flash Cannon tries to come out into Fluttermane. But Tailwind now peters out. Means I am fine going for this. I maybe should have Stellar Terra boosted it. But I think I can win with what I have in the back. Even if Fluttermane takes a lot of damage here. Incineroar goes for knockoff. Does that much damage to Indeedee. Harsh Light fades. I don't know who's faster between our Caledon and Kamo, but our Caledon can be faster than Kamo, so I'm going to redirect this here. We saw that it was stamina, so there's theoretically not much that it can do. Terra also doesn't make a lot of sense here because I could just Clang Scales unless it's Fairy Terra. Incineroar tries to Fake Out again, but unfortunately it's been on the field and we are on Psychic terrain, so that's just not going to work. And also, Kamo was faster than our Caledon, so it gets to knock out our Caledon. Also lag. Uh-oh. Alright. Try. So it's manual cooling. And now I think I can just... Actually, this could be fast, Pelipper. And Clang Scale is probably KOs anyways, so we're gonna do that. Okay, Pelipper just protects anyways. Oh, and someone actually lives the Clank Scales. Now we bring in Torkoal and Torkoal. Yeah. It would probably faster. 50% chance to land Hurricane into Confusion proc is extremely unlikely. And there we go. GG's, GG's. You just gotta win the next two, Tiger Gamer. No pressure, no pressure. Alright, let me hide screen while I pick another team. And I'm going to, this time, pick this team. And what do we have here? Looks to be the same gals and guy. So, what should I bring? That looks pretty favorable. Except into that, but I can mitigate that with that. Actually, that goes so well, but then it goes terribly. I do that. And then you're gonna be in the back. Okay, this is the lead I figured would happen. It will be a little bit down to the cards. Oh, Lungus actually expects here. Okay. And Caesar does get picked out, but I prefer this timeline quite a bit. Throw one for Taunt into Sneasler, which is crazy play, but it works out because I can't coaching again. Can't get it against the Kowtow, though. And this is gonna hurt. Helper gets revealed onto the field. I want Sneasler to just die to her. I mean, it's not gonna die to Hurricane unless that's Sash. Could be Sash. And I really wish I could get off another coaching. I probably Dire Claw just to be safe. Okay, that protects. But what is the instant we're going to do? Is it going to try and burn me? It's certainly not going to parting shot the King Gambit, is it? Oh. Oh no. This is what we in the industry refer to as the opposite of a good idea. Who's the Sash? It's probably the best skill agent, right? Something is going to Terastallize. And Strategial Agent into Blocker. Actually, we can go to the Aqua Jet, which means it won't be taking as much time. Basically, Legion does get slept on the Dire Claw, which is a little bit unlucky. I can't come down to Sneasler. The most sensible thing would be to swap out Basket Legion because it's not going to wake up. I think I'm going to do this. That should be max. Sucker Punch finishes off Pelipper. Unfortunately, Tiger Gamer, you can't get a Pokemon on this attempt, but you are more than welcome to do the third battle if you would like to. Just to get some practice against one of the other teams. Oh, who we got left? This team and this team. I think I'm gonna run this team. Alright, same team. And for this team, I think that... I could just do... I guess I don't have to overthink it too much. I'm just gonna do this, and this. Now, let's see if the opponent falls for the trap, which is clicking Fake Out again on the psychic terrain. Pelipper sets a challenge. We're gonna make him pretty speedy. Incineroar goes for the taunt. Meaning that Indeedee is now limited in this moves that I can go for. Hatterene gets up the Trick Room, which is the important part. We're going to do that and do... I think Expanding Force will kill Pelipper. I don't think Dazzling Gleam will kill Pelipper. But some Chip on Incineroar would be nice. Let's Expanding Force in case. Okay. Dazzling Gleam would have been handy there, but it's fine for now, at least. Incineroar knocks off Indeedee. Expanding Force, but doesn't affect Incineroar. Does a lot of damage to Pelipper, bringing it down to its stash. Indeedee is going to finish off Pelipper. Side Shock. Incineroar's knocked off and is going to finish off Indeedee. We're gonna bring Marina onto the field as the opponent brings Best Legion. And I feel pretty fine just going for the Hyper Voice and the Expanding Force. Because we are in rain, it would produce our water. And if Incineroar was going to terrestrialize the grass, it means that it was going to choose to be able to be hit by the Expanding Force. By Expanding Force takes out Basque Legion, which means that Marina gets the single target Hyper Voice into Incineroar. Tailwind peters out. King Gambit does need to survive these turns of room. We can go for Protect, but decides to cancel the battle anyways, which is perfectly understandable. GG's Tiger Gamer. There's some good stuff there. Obviously some stuff that didn't work out. But I think if you make some reflections, maybe look over the Pokemon that you got on your team and think about matchups, look forward to another challenge in the future. But I also think that that's probably where we're going to end things, since it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes now. So just to summarize what I said at the start, this is the second to last stream before we introduce Team 5. So next week on Tuesday, we'll obviously have Beat Me, Take My Pokemon, and then that following Saturday, we will have a very, very long live stream for Beat Me, Take My Pokemon, where we introduce Team 5, and some slight changes to the rule set. So look forward to that. But I will see you then. Hopefully. Or in the next one. Whichever comes next. Well, I guess the next one can come next. Bye!